Why am I in a duck costume? Why not? Why not? Alright, let's go. Melee combat. The aim of many of the melee combat changes is to further develop and reinvigorate many combat systems for the core Marauder and Duelist archetypes. The overall goal is to create greater diversity of melee skills and more exciting gameplay with them from early game through to late game. Good. End game melee combat feel. A number of changes have been made to melee, which changes the feel of early combat. Most melee skills now have more or less attack speed, shown on the gem as a percentage of base attack speed. This is both to better match their animations and create noticeable differences between fast, aggressive attacks and slower, much deadlier slams. Many low-level weapons have had their attack speeds increased to bring them closer to the fastest speed of their item class. This should lessen the feeling of a weapon feeling clunkier compared to a low-level equivalent. This way, more speed, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they're just generally made attack speed better. That's fine. Striking multiple targets. Swing with the melee weapon could previously only hit a single target, affecting both default attack and a large number of melee attack skills like Glacial Hammer, Frost Blades, Frenzy, Flicker Strike, and more. Flicker Strike buffs! We've made changes that mean that every swing has a damage cone with a damage pattern that matches the attack animation. The standard melee attack animation has changed, now using one based on a double strike animation. This improves the feeling of combat flow while creating a new hit rhythm that will be more consistent across classes. We aim to make this greater animation. We aim to make much greater animation improvements in 4.0, but this is a step towards a more natural feeling combat. So there's a buttload more of this coming. Like there's more and more of this coming. That's great. Skill rebalances. We've made a pass of damage, attack speed, and area of effect, and more to many melee skills. The goal of this change is to make some less powerful choices more competitive with other comparable alternates. Many attack gems now also have added damage that grows as the gem levels. This is mostly to provide damage growth to characters while leveling if they haven't found a powerful weapon. Different gems have different relative strengths of added damage, so your skill choice might be determined how much you want to take advantage of the gem's damage compared to the others. By the way, the many times anyone asks me, what should they do to help fix melee? This exact thing was what I was saying as an answer. Like literally called it. Support gems. We've made some significant changes to a couple of support gems that affect many melee skills. Multi-strike. This support now provides lower attack speed multiplier. Just over half the existing support gem. The previous iteration provided way too large an attack speed multiplier for a single gem, causing problems with performance, effects, animation, and balance. The skill repeats now have a damage multiplier, dealing double damage on the third repeat. You can now interrupt a multi-strike between repeats, lets you avoid a dangerous boss ability, or in an ongoing attack, blah 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 blah. Makes multi-strike much more responsive. Cool. Alright, it's fine. Melee Slash. You can now hit multiple targets with a single weapon swing. Melee Splash can now create multiple slash effects each attack. The skill now has a larger splash damage penalty, as it can much more effectively destroy groups of enemies if you position your attack carefully. Or you could be a bow or spell build and not position or aim anything and just have it kill everything, but that's fine. I mean, it still sounds like a good change. Fortify. The Fortify support now provides more melee damage stats instead of increased melee physical damage stat, though at a lower damage value. It should now be a much more tempting choice for a primary melee attack rather than regulated to secondary and travel skills, though it won't outclass the damage of the most powerful pure damage supports for attack. So, still just leave it on leap stam then? Is that how everyone else read that? We made it better, but we didn't make it better enough to use. Is that's what I read then. Like, we made it much better, but the other ones are still better. So now I guess I leap slam harder? I don't know. That's fine. It's fine though, that's fine. Yeah, okay, that's fine. New support and skill gems. We're introducing a number of new support gems, 2 of which enhance or support slower attacks, while another support gem and aura skill further enhance the pure physical damage playstyle. Okay. We hope these changes will improve the strength of these 2 methods of building characters. We'll be providing more details of the full list of support gems shortly. Marauder and Duelist Ascendancy classes. We've made major changes to Chieftain, Berserker, and Slayer. We wanted to give them a stronger identity and better let them achieve their design goals. The Chieftain should be an amazing choice for fire damage attacker, as it gives a huge amount of life regeneration and should be a competitive choice for melee totem characters. Yeah, sure. Berserker should be capable of some of the highest damage numbers in the game, though at great cost. Both of these sentences were written by Zeb. Chieftain should be an amazing choice for fire damage attackers, as it gives a huge amount of life regeneration. What? The Berserker should be capable of the highest damage numbers in the game, though at a great cost. What's the cost? A 5% degen? I don't know if I call that a great cost. I mean, it's great in the idea that that's fucking great. I want to use that. That's like, it's great in that way. I mean, I guess if you're an idiot and you take the 10% increase to damage taken node, but there's so many other nodes on there that there's just no reason to take that anymore. Unless I guess you want to die. I don't know. It's fine. We also considered the recovery tool available to him to make them more efficient and let you spend a few points on damage. And just a few more points on damage. He also has a new critical attack ultimate that rewards critical strikes in an interesting way. Okay. Sure. Sure. Slayer reinforces his place as taking full advantage of Life Leech, while also being capable of massive damage against unique enemies. He also has powerful area bonuses, as well as a new critical strike synergy with specializes frenzy and endurance charge mechanics. Slayer honestly nailed so good. Very happy about Slayer. The Gladiator is receiving a new notable support to the Gladiator themed Blood and Sand skill, but isn't receiving any other major changes at this point. The champion is receiving some minor improvements, and the Juggernaut remains unchanged other than the damage and area buffs to his Unyielding passive. Real quick. Which one's Unyielding? Undeniable, Unbreakable, Unflinching, Unyielding. There you are. That was already pretty decent. I'm happy with that getting a buff. Okay. Other attack-based Ascendancy won't receive any changes, though Raider will be seeing some big changes in 3.8. Nice. Passive tree changes. We've redesigned the positioning and passive wheels of just about everything melee on the passive tree, as well as some bow and wand clusters. They're in a particular focus on making critical strikes more viable for a larger selection of melee builds. There are many rewarding opportunities to specialize in certain mechanics like area of effect, armor, evasion, impale, blind, and fortify. Yep, okay. We've made some notable changes to the accuracy calculation, making it much easier to reach higher chances, increase the chance to hit cap to 100%, letting you always hit enemies, sometimes something previously exclusive to Resolute Technique and a small number of items, mods, and ascendancies. This will provide a goal for attacking characters that has a notable impact on combat, and will become much more reasonable method of hitting enemies with attacks without high dexterity. Sure, okay. The character sheet now shows your chance to hit normal enemies and your chance to hit evasive enemies, so you can measure your hit rating against the foes you're taking on. With the new calculations, you'll need about 3,000 accuracy to always hit normal level 83 monsters. We've also improved and normalized the accuracy rating mods on items while reducing the amount of increased accuracy from passives and increasing their other offensive abilities. This is because these clusters would have trivialized reaching 3,000 accuracy rating. This value is subject to change as we put the finishing touches on the passive tree. Okay. As a result of changes to the accuracy calculations, monsters will have a higher chance to hit players as well. This isn't so noticeable against characters fully invested in evasion, but will have a more notable impact on low amount of invasion characters. There's less free mitigation. You'll have to work for it now. Monk ass. Dagger and staff types. The list of dagger and staff base types now includes a number of weapons that inherently can't have any caster modifiers on them. Previously, creating great attack daggers or staffs was significantly more difficult. Blah 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 blah. The staff that can't roll caster modifiers is now called a wall staff, while the daggers that can't roll caster modifiers are called daggers. Oh, right. Okay, the rest of the sentence makes some more sense. While daggers that can't roll caster modifiers are called daggers, the ones that can are called rune daggers. Okay. If you stop that sentence right there, it gets very confusing. Existing base types are unaffected. We tried to maintain a diverse set of weapons, keeping base types appropriate to blah 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 blah. Yep, cool. Fine. Added damage from weapons and jewels. The damage granted by high tier elemental weapon prefix compared poorly with the equivalent physical modifiers, making obtaining a great elemental weapon more about attack speed and critical bonuses rather than rendering the prefixes mostly meaningless. Meaningless, but certainly not that important. We've remedied this by adding an additional tier of local added elemental damage for fire, cold, and lightning damage, increasing the power of the existing high tiers and reducing the weight of the top two tiers to make them only slightly less challenging than the weapon equivalent of physical damage. Okay, cool, cool. On the other end of the scale, Abyssal Joules were providing far more added damage to attacks than we were happy with, you don't say, making them far greater contributor to damage than your weapon, and life as well. We've lowered the value of attack damage modifiers to be about 30% lower than before, and made it harder to obtain the higher tiers of all types of damage. Nice, nice, nice. Good. At the same time, We've lowered the life, mana, and energy shield available on Abyssal Joules, and made higher tiers harder to obtain. As again, they provided an unreasonable level of survivability for a single jewel socket. We've changed weapon-specific modifiers on non-Abyssal Joules to provide generic damage increases rather than specifically affecting physical damage, so they're now good alternatives to Abyssal Joules for elemental attack characters. I don't see that being true, but that's fine. Moving on. General combat changes. Animation cancelling. You can now cancel your own skills within the first 20% of the attack or cast time, or after the effect of the skill has been unleashed. This will leave you better able to respond to enemy threats and allow you to move. Yep, cancelling in the first 20% will allow you to immediately perform an action. You can't interrupt the skill with the same skill. Cancelling after an event of an action won't let you perform any action until the first action would have been completed other than moving. This lets you move in short bursts between attacks and casts, as long as you're a slow attack speed build. Imagine trying to move between attacks while you've got 25 attacks per second. That's some fast clicking you got there. It will feel really good though. I'm really excited about animation cancelling. Really excited. Enemy combat. There have been a large number of changes to enemies through Act 1 and some changes through Act 2. The goal of these changes is to bring their combat level up to the modern design level, the more opportunities for counterplay, to make enemy abilities also more dangerous, because I don't always die in Act 1. Some monsters use the new melee system, so the area of their attacks will match the animations, making it feel more connected and letting you respond to action. Yep. Yeah, hang on. I thought they said Acts 1 to 3 earlier. Now we're hearing just Act 1 and 2? I mean, that's fine, but yeah, well, it was definitely 1 to 3 they said earlier. That's okay. Skill changes. Travel skills. A number of skills are now classified as travel skills. These are movement skills that usually move you significantly faster than you could otherwise move. We're going to use this distinction on a number of mechanics to both benefit and restrict their use without affecting high damage movement skills. Fair, that's fine. Defensive skills. Made some changes to Molten Shell and Immortal Call. Connected with the new Iron Skin. You can read about those changes here. We've already done that. The overall goal is to make the defensive abilities reward careful use, with the option of automating them with a trigger support still available. An option I will take, thank you very much. Changes to powerful skills. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Oh, no. Oh, fuck my life up, fam. Let's go. Changes to powerful skills. We've decided that Winter Orm, yep. Stormbrand, yep. Bane, yep. Soulrend, were too powerful for clearing through content without heavy investment. So the damage and other aspects has been reduced in power. Don't know about the Soulrend, but the rest of them, yep, that's fine. That's fine. Warlord's Mark now only applies its leech bonus to attacks. Eat a dick! What? Fuck you! Curses easily solved mana problems for casters with minimal investment. Minimal investment? I had to give up a real curse. After deliberating, we've decided that solving mana problems for spellcasters should require more thought and greater opportunity cost. Like running Cruel Lab 35 times until you hit Leech on your boots and then not worrying about it, right? Right, guys? Like, we used to have an alternative. You either run Lab a bunch of times and get Leech on your boots, or you put on like a Herald of Thunder curse on hit Warlord's Mark, or get a curse on hit Warlord's Mark somewhere else. Now you just don't get that, so just go get just go get leech on your boots. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Herald of Agony has had its minion damage per virulence reduced, as a skill provided a huge amount of power for very little investment. I think what you mean was no investment. 0 investment. That's also fair. That's also fair. Powerful Ascendancy classes. Oh, hello. I'm talking to you now, Trickster and Occultist. Certain notables in some Ascendancy classes that provided too much potential damage or defense have been changed. Occultist now only has a single energy shield based notable, with a condensed and limited version of the previous energy shield notables. The ability for energy shield to be uninterrupted if recovered has started recently, has moved to a new keystone found near Witch, making the mechanics available to a broader selection of characters, though with a new downside. Sure. Sure. Cool. Trickster's Ghost Dance charges now... Talking is hard. Trickster's Ghost Dance charges now generate at a slower rate and provide reduced value of attack and cast speed. The charges were rarely depleted, so a reasonable character in normal gameplay providing a massive defensive power was far too reliable. It felt really good though. Should be fine still. Yeah, that should still be fine. Trickster's Ghost Dance charges now generated a slower rate. Oh wait, we did that. The Elementalist's Beacon of Ruin notable has changed. No more prolif. No longer granting proliferation of elements. Yeah. With a lower value of minimum shock. Oh. The shock benefit provided too much power in combination with increased shock effect. Yes, it did. While the proliferation had significant effects on performance, regardless of whether or not it was been taking full advantage of. Correct. We'll be replacing or changing this and other sources of proliferation in the future. I mean, I liked the shock thing, but I mean, just losing the prolif is... Like, I understand it's going to have some balance. People are going to be like, I was using that. But at the same time, it really destroyed things. Like, it really caused problems. Prolif is the main cause of Elementalist lag. So, good? Blood Magic and Mortal Conviction. We've completely changed Mortal Conviction, the notable behind Blood Magic. It is now a keystone that restricts you to only one non-banner aura skill, but removes the reservation cost. The mana cost of a Herald skill and other specific reservation skills will need to be paid in full with life. I mean, I guess get fucked everyone who is doing support wrong. Or the few people in Standard who had like stupid gear and did blood magic everything. This doesn't affect me in any way. Except it makes me think about taking blood magic on some melee builds. Okay. This means that builds that used blood magic and Mortal Conviction to reserve a very large number of auras while being protected by energy shield will be restricted to one aura. We may return this mechanic in the future on a more specific source than the passive tree. Sure. Nodes behind. I don't know. Definitely, this might actually make blood magic an option for some people. Remembering we've still got a ring, so while you couldn't put another 50% in, you could get a Herald on. You could still put a Herald on in a Essence Worm, probably. So if they're limiting you to one aura, you won't be able to put a second aura in the ring. So you'll still only have the one aura and you'll only be able to put a Herald in there or something, but that's still something. We've removed the powerful passive clusters behind many keystones. These passives were being used to add additional power to the keystones in a way that worked well in the passive tree, but unique items were unable to receive the same power without the character being able to double up on taking both the unique and the keystone. Future balance editions of these keystones will come in the forms of abilities on the keystone itself rather than on additional modifiers. Okay. Okay. That sounds weird. We saw that in the version of Mom we saw, which only had Mom on it, and that was it. So that's interesting, and I'll be keen to see where that goes. Energy shield on the passive tree. Oh no, they're not buffing life, they're nerfing energy shield. Oh, that's not the way I was hoping, but I guess it's fine. I'll figure it out. Okay. We've made a number of changes to bonus energy shield on the passive tree. The value of increased energy shield on various passive clusters has been lowered, with some flat energy shield available early in the passive tree. This will let energy shield have some extra defensive benefits at early levels while reducing the potential energy shield of a fully invested late game character can achieve. There's a new energy shield cluster between Templar and Witch at a location that was missing energy shield options when pathing between the classes. Sure. Indirect changes to unnatural instinct from the passive tree. The crit multiple passives near the Scion starting area provided too much power through the unnatural instinct jewel. You don't fucking say. They have been changed to accuracy passives instead. Get fucked. Oh, that's actually fantastic. They could have just removed them entirely, to be honest. That was... The amount of crit multi you got out of doing that one thing there was like... stupid high. It was ridiculous. It should never ever have been there. The only issue I have with it is the crit multi nodes on their own weren't that bad. Like, they were fine, those passives themselves were okay, and I could have, and I have taken them on Scion before, just straight out of the starting area without the jewel. And that was fine, but this is fine too. Defense from equipment. The inclusion of dense fossils with Delve and the item quality modifiers with Betrayal significantly increased the potential energy shield available on many item slots. Implicits didn't help either. With minimal investment. The values granted were too great, so we've made some changes to both dense fossils and quality crafted modifiers. Oh no. Oh no, here we go. You can no longer craft any local item quality modifiers on boots, gloves, and helms. You will still be able to craft them on body armors and shields. Dense fossils no longer include local armor, evasion, and energy shield suffixes. Instead, the fossils will have local item quality as a potential suffix on body armors and shields, with slightly higher potential value than the crafted modifiers. Other item slots have new modifiers appropriate to their defense. Okay. That's one way to make Delve less rewarding, I guess. That was straight whiskey. I'm sad about the nerf. It's definitely coffee. Powerful unique item rarity. Certain very powerful unique items will be harder to obtain. This includes Headhunter, Eternity Shroud, and Solstice Vigil. I tell you what, fuck everybody who goes, I need a Headhunter to have fun. I hope you can't find one. Fuck you. Anyway, moving on. New skill. That's gonna get me some hate on YouTube. Oh well. Changes not making it into 3.7. New skill enhancements. 3.7 won't initially include enchantments for the new skills. We're planning to release these shortly after, once we've had time to develop interesting and worthwhile enchantments that improve their most interesting aspects. There has been an ongoing discussion about the enchantment system. We've yet to come to a conclusion on how obtaining helmet enchants might change. As a result, the new enchantments, specific harder enchantments, yeah, blah blah blah. We know. Leech! We'd hoped to simplify and rework the leech system in 3.7.0. You're gonna make it as simple as the energy shield leech simple? The more we developed the new system, the more we realized it was such an extreme change that it would disorient too many players and potentially require more balance and iteration than we were comfortable in the time frame available. We decided to make the change alongside 4.0 as part of other more significant and sweeping balance changes. We hope this will let us do the system justice by making the system better fit the game's progression, with much more reward for investment, a significant shift away from Leech's current play in the game. Okay, cool. Yep. Cool. Bleeding and other ailment attacks. So there are many changes that affect bleeding ailments with attack. Don't have natural growth in power during progression that we're happy with and don't provide enough interesting interactions. Plan on making more significant changes to damaging ailments, especially with attacks in the future. Okay, so the bleeding poison stuff didn't make it in this league. Slightly disappointing, but that's fine. I'm okay with it. Ha to everybody who wants a headhunter right away, all the time. Like, big ha to you. Little bit sad about the ES nerfs. I was kind of hoping for a life buff rather than an ES nerf to bring them in line. So a little bit sad about that, but that's alright. Otherwise, super interesting, super excited. Really like. Alright.